Listen to 6 people talking about their neighbours. 1.
I've lived in this village for most of my life, and it's always been a lovely place to live. Everyone's really friendly, and there's a real sense of community. My neighbour is wonderful, and now that I'm in my 80s, it's good to know that she's there if I need her. She's always been really helpful, but now I can't get around so easily. Her assistance makes all the difference to me. I'm still very independent, so I don't need much help, but every week she asks me what shopping I need and gets it for me. That's what I think makes a good neighbour.
2.
I've been quite lucky with this flat. Some of my friends say their neighbours keep them awake all night with their loud music, but here it's pretty quiet and everyone keeps themselves to themselves. I like that. I'm a private person, so I don't want nosy neighbours who always want to know your business. That, to me, is the key difference between a good and bad neighbour.
3.
It was only when it started getting warmer that the problems with our neighbours started. The first time I nearly got hit by a ball when gardening, I thought it was an accident and returned it to our neighbours. But after politely asking 3 or 4 times for them to stop their children throwing things over the fence, I got really fed up. I knew the children were doing it on purpose, but their parents didn't care. It didn't feel safe to sit in the garden, and it certainly wasn't relaxing. We've since moved and now have the perfect neighbours. They're really good parents, and it's a joy to hear the children playing next door. Sometimes you hear them get told off when they get too noisy, and I know for sure that if a ball did happen to land in our garden, it would be an accident, and they would apologise.
4.
We decided to move to the Brecon Hills community because we feel strongly about being part of something where other people's values match ours. We strongly believe that neighbours should share and work together, and one of the things we love about this community is that we have weekly meetings to sort out any problems and to discuss what improvements can be made. This week, we're going to be discussing how we can collectively homeschool our children.
5.
I remember when I was a student, I lived in a really noisy house once. It was divided into 2 flats, and I lived in the top floor one with 3 flatmates. The guy who lived downstairs wasn't the ideal neighbour, that's for sure. He played really loud music and often played his electric guitar until the early hours. It wasn't too bad for me as a first-year student, but my housemate downstairs had a job, so he was always getting annoyed about being woken up. Now that I'm working, I really appreciate the fact that I have good neighbours on both sides of me. They never play loud music late during the week, and I don't even know if they're in most of the time. I feel very fortunate.
6.
I think my neighbour is amazing. He's just the kind of person you want to live next to. I mean, just last week I had problems with my boiler and I had to call someone out to repair it. The problem was I couldn't get time off work, so it was getting a bit stressful trying to organise when they could come out. Fortunately, when I mentioned this to my retired neighbour, Frank, he offered to help and said that if I gave him my key and told him when the appointment was, he'd make sure he was at home and could let the plumber into my place. I wouldn't normally give my key to anyone, but over the 15 years I've been living here, Frank has always been someone I know I can trust. I think that makes the world of difference when it comes to having good neighbours.
Listening exercises 1 and 2. 1.
So, how are you settling in, Lynn?
Fine. It's weird living in a small country village after the bright lights of the city, but everybody's made us feel really welcome.
What? They're bringing you homemade cakes and inviting you for coffee mornings?
Not exactly, thank goodness. I haven't got time for coffee mornings. But the neighbours next door invited us for lunch last Sunday. It was a lovely day, so we ate in the garden. It was all very relaxing and informal. They're very nice people.
Do you have much in common?
Well, they play golf, so Harry was very happy about that.
2.
I need your advice, Bill.
OK, how can I help?
Well, it's about Jack, really.
Jack? How did he get on with his A-levels, by the way?
Great. He got an A and 2 Bs.
Very good. So he could go to any university he chooses?
That's exactly the point. He's not sure he wants to go to university.
Oh? Why's that?
Well, he's got a real aptitude for building and mending things, especially engines.
Yeah, so he should study engineering.
I know, but he's not brilliant at maths. He wants to be a car mechanic.
In my view, that would be a mistake, Jim. You need qualifications nowadays.
But you don't have any qualifications, Bill, and you're a millionaire. But what I wanted to ask you was, could Jack do an apprenticeship in one of your garages?
3.
Hi, Joe. Where are you going in such a hurry?
Oh, hi, Dennis. I need to get to the travel agents before they close.
Oh, going on holiday?
Sort of, yes. My sister's getting married in Sydney in March, so we thought we'd combine it with a holiday.
Aren't you online at home?
Yes, we are. Why?
Well, you could book it all online.
Oh, no. I like to talk to a real person. There are usually so many options. And we want to stop over somewhere on the way, Hong Kong or Dubai, we're not sure.
Yes, I know what you mean. But you'd be surprised how quick and easy it is online, especially if you use one of those travel sites like Expedia or Travelocity. It's worth a try, and you can get very cheap deals.
Really? Better than the travel agents?
Usually, yes.
OK, I'll have a look tonight. So let's go for a drink now and catch up, shall we?
4.
Where have you been, James? Haven't seen you for ages.
Hi, Elizabeth. Yes, I just got back from Cairo. I do quite a lot of business there.
Really? Funnily enough, I'm off to Cairo in a couple of weeks to see my daughter Alex. She's been studying Arabic there.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Yes, she's staying with a local family. I'd like to take them a present or something. Any tips?
Well, if you're invited to their home for dinner, take some really nice chocolates. Not flowers, though. They're only for weddings.
Oh, well, that's useful to know. Anything else?
Well, they'd love it if you have second helpings. But if you've had enough to eat, leave a small bit of food on your plate. Otherwise, they'll keep filling it up.
Thanks for the warning.
5.
Have you got Matt's phone number, Vicky?
Oh, sorry, Tom. It's on my mobile, but that's at work. I forgot to put it in my bag.
But don't you remember the number?
No, of course not.
But you've been going out with Matt for 6 months and calling him several times a day. Surely you know his number by now.
Why should I? I always use my mobile. Anyway, I'm hopeless at remembering numbers.
Haven't you written it down somewhere?
Yes, but I can't remember where. Oh, come on, Tom. You're not much better. You couldn't remember your car number plate last week.
That's because it's a new car. You borrowed it and then forgot where you parked it. Remember?
6.
Hello, John. Hi, Barbara. Thank you for coming at such short notice. It's just that I wanted to discuss something with you before the parents' meeting next week.
Is it about the bullying of students on the social networking sites?
Yes, I've heard about that too. The mother of one of my students asked me what we were going to do about it.
Exactly, Barbara. We need to discuss our options. What do you think we can do? John?
Well, in my view, it's the parents' responsibility to monitor their children's use of these sites.
I must say I agree with John. I do think that we should make sure students aren't bullying each other at school, but I don't see how we can control what they do at home on their computers.
Yes, but for me, there is a connection between the two. Let me give you an example.
Listen to 2 conversations about what people might do in different situations. 1.
Hi, Jeremy. You look happy. What's going on?
You'll never guess what, Nina. My cousin Declan's just won 1.5 million on the Euro lottery.
€1,000,000? Wow, if I won that kind of money, I know what I'd do. I'd travel the world and visit as many countries as I could.
Really? I wouldn't. I mean, I might go on a cruise or a holiday to somewhere exotic, but I think I'd prefer to use the money to do something more long-term, like set up my own business. You know, I've always wanted to run my own IT company.
2.
Hi, Henry. Are you okay? You look a bit worried.
Hi there, Amelia. Sorry, I've just had some bad news.
Oh, really? What's happened?
Well, I might not have a job in a week's time. My boss told me that the company needs to cut costs and that some of us will have to go. They said they're going to tell us exactly who next Thursday. Tuesday.
Oh, but you've been working for them for years. What are you going to do?
Well, if I get made redundant, they'll have to give me some money for the years I've worked for them. You know, redundancy pay to help me while I find a new job. Then I think I'll go back to college.
Really? What would you study?
Well, I've always been interested in doing something more practical, like furniture making or pottery. But actually, I think I'd train to become a plumber and do a plumbing course.
That's a good idea. Have you contacted the local college?
One. Linda.
Which appliance could I live without? Well, actually, that's not so difficult to answer. I've just bought a new flat and it has the most beautiful wooden floors everywhere. There isn't one single piece of carpet to clean. So you see, I don't need a vacuum cleaner anymore. Great, isn't it? In fact, I'm trying to get rid of my old one. It's not even that old, really. I bought it a year ago and it's only slightly scratched. You don't need one, do you?
2. James.
What could I live without? Most of these appliances are essential, really, aren't they? I couldn't possibly live without a fridge or a washing machine. They're the most important things. Oh, if I have to choose, I suppose I'd say the dishwasher. I do have one, actually, but I live alone and eat out a lot, so I hardly ever use it. It's the least important appliance in my house.
3. Katie.
I don't think I could live without any of them, really. They're all as important as each other. I couldn't possibly live without the fridge, for example. If I didn't have one, life would be unbearable. I eat a lot of organic food and it's more difficult to keep fresh. I also have to do quite a bit of entertaining at home because of my job, so the fridge is nearly always full. I suppose the least important item would be the iron. Yes, I could live without that. I never iron sheets and towels or T-shirts, that sort of thing. I take all my other clothes to the dry cleaners. In fact, I can't remember the last time I used the iron.
4. Charles.
Well, I definitely couldn't live without the microwave. I'm the worst cook in the world. Absolutely hopeless. I couldn't boil an egg if I tried. I buy pre-packaged food from the supermarket and just pop it into the microwave when I get home. It's the quickest, easiest way of cooking ever invented. So, if I have to choose one thing I could live without, it would have to be the oven, wouldn't it? My flat's got the biggest oven you've ever seen, far bigger than most people would ever need. But I've never used it, not once.
5. Victoria.
I've got 3 young boys under the age of 10, so you can imagine it's hard to say which appliance is less important than any other. I use the washing machine every day, sometimes twice if the kids have been playing football and they come home covered in mud. When I think about my grandmother, she used to do all her washing by hand in the old days, with 4 children. It's the worst thing you can ever imagine, isn't it? But if I had to choose, I suppose it would be the toaster. That I could live without, just about. I've got a good grill in my oven, so I could make toast with that.
6. Margaret.
Well, I'm a cook, a professional cook. I give classes at home, so my oven is my livelihood. The most essential thing in my life. I couldn't possibly live without it, could I? I sometimes have 10 people in my kitchen. The classes for single men are by far the most popular. You wouldn't believe how many of them want to learn to cook these days. They've got tired of eating processed food and takeaways. They want healthier food, don't they? So the dishwasher is also a necessity. There's always piles of washing up to do afterwards. But the one thing I can easily live without is a microwave. In fact, I don't have one, and wouldn't use it if you gave me one. It encourages people to eat pre-prepared food and makes them lazy, don't you think?
One. Listen to Celine and Jim discussing space travel.
Have you read that article about space travel yet, Jim?
Yes, I read it last night. It was really interesting, but I'm not sure I agree with a lot of it. Do you really think that people will be living on the moon in the next 15 years? I think that's crazy. Don't you, Celine?
Perhaps you're right, but I think humans will probably be living on the moon in the next century. We'll have to if the world's population keeps growing.
2. Listen to Beth and Matt discussing the coming election.
So, Matt, who do you think will win the election this time?
Well, I think it's hard to say. All the parties seem alike, and let's face it, most people don't believe anything most party leaders say anymore. I certainly don't think one party is going to win. Our next government will probably be a coalition. You know, a mix of different parties.
Do you really think so? I'm not so sure. The news said last night that the People's Party might win again. But I don't think that's likely. Well, not on their own. People want change, don't they?
True, but I don't think any of the smaller parties like the Community First Party will win. They just won't get enough votes.
3. Listen to Daniel and Kirsten discussing tomorrow's tennis semi-final.
Hi, Kirsten. Are you excited about going to the semi-final tomorrow?
Oh, yes, Daniel. It's going to be amazing to watch Kendall play Stark. They're both such competitive tennis players, and they've both been playing so well this year. Who do you think might win?
Well, it's difficult to say. Perhaps Stark will. I mean, she has won her last 10 matches and hasn't got any injuries at the moment. She seems to be getting better and better every time she plays.
That's true, but she's never beaten Kendall before, so I'm going to go for Kendall.
1.
What are you doing tomorrow, Mike?
I'm not sure. We might go to the concert in the park in the afternoon.
Good idea. I'm thinking of taking the kids there too. Or to the cinema. It depends on the weather. Do you think it's going to rain?
Unlikely, I think. They say it's going to be quite a sunny day.
Wonderful. So I'll take a picnic then. Why don't you and Susan join us?
Sounds great. Thanks, Barbara.
2.
John, have you finished doing your CV yet?
No, Mum. There's plenty of time. I don't have to send in the application until Friday.
But it's already Wednesday. And what about the covering letter?
Don't worry. I'll do it tomorrow.
I don't think that's a very good idea. You should start writing it now.
I can't, Mum. I have to go to band practice at Philip's place.
Oh, John, you'll never get a job if you leave everything to the last minute.
3.
You look beautiful, Alice. Where are you going tonight?
A club in town, Gran. It's salsa night.
Salsa? That sounds fun. You're just like me when I was your age. I used to love dancing.
I know, Gran. And you're still great at dancing the rock and roll. Did you used to dance salsa in the 1960s?
No, we didn't, unfortunately. But we had all kinds of other weird dances. The twist, the shake, the locomotion. There'd be a new dance craze every week.
Fascinating. You'll have to teach me one day.
Of course I will.
4.
So, first of all, what are we going to do about Ken?
Well, the problem is that he's not a risk-taker and he's very indecisive.
Yes, I've noticed that. He's very hard-working, but he can't think outside the box. We'll have to find somebody else to do the job.
Yes, I agree. We need a manager who's more like Frank, competitive and motivated.
Yes, Frank would be an excellent manager. Why don't we offer him the job?
In other words, we have to fire Ken?
Exactly.
5.
Oh, don't believe it.
What's the matter, Dave?
The car won't start. I've got a very important meeting with a customer and I'm going to be late. I'll have to call a taxi. It'll cost a fortune.
Oh, calm down. I'm not starting work until 10 today, so I'll take you to the station. You'll probably get the 8:35 train and you'll be at the office by 9:15.
OK, thanks, Maggie. That would be great. But what should we do about the car?
I'll call Tim at the garage. I'm sure he'll come and look at it. Leave it with me.
6.
Hi, Josh. It's Amy.
Oh, hi, Amy. How are things?
Fine, thanks. But you're in hot water.
You've lost me. What have I done now?
Kate's not very happy with you. You didn't send her a card or call her.
A card? What for?
Oh, it's her birthday.
Her birthday is not until the 26th of May.
Right, and what day is it today?
The 24th? 25th? Let me check on the calendar. Oh no, it's the 26th. I didn't realise it was today.
Right. So what are you going to do?
Well, I'll phone her right now and send her some flowers.
Oh, I think she'll expect a bit more than that. Go out and buy her a nice present. A handbag or something.
OK. I'll buy her a nice present and take it to her house.
Oh, that's a much better idea. Bye, Josh.
Bye.
Listen to June talking about her experience of learning to write.
It's interesting how things change with time. These days in the UK, writing with your left hand isn't something to be embarrassed or ashamed of. It's not a habit that people generally try to get you to change nowadays. But at the time when I was born, it was. I don't remember the look on my parents' faces the first time I picked up a pencil and used my left hand. I was only 18 months old at the time. No, actually, I remember Mum saying I was 15 months old. But I do remember that until I started school, I was made to write with my right hand, and that my left one used to be tied behind my back so I wouldn't use it. As you can imagine, it didn't feel natural for me to use my right hand, and so my writing was terrible. You could hardly read it. Fortunately, by the time I started school, attitudes had changed, and people were allowed to be left-handed. It was no longer considered to be unlucky or culturally unacceptable. As soon as I could, I started learning how to write with my left hand again. It felt a lot more natural to me, and my writing became so much neater. I still think it's rather strange that in some places in the world being left-handed is considered a bad thing. I think I read somewhere that 20%... No, I've got that wrong. It was about 10% of the world's population is left-handed. What's the most embarrassing experience that ever happened to me? Well, I can't think of anything I can actually talk about. I mean, they were such awful experiences, I don't even want to think about them. But anyway, other people's stories are much funnier, I always think, don't you? My brother, for example, he tells fantastic stories. He loves telling stories, especially about himself, but he's very good at it. I remember one story he told me about an embarrassing experience he had. It made me laugh so much. It was the way he told it, with all the gestures and everything. He doesn't seem to mind people laughing at him. I think he likes making people laugh. Maybe that's what it is. Anyway, this story he told me, it happened quite a few years ago, I think. 5 or 6 years at least. He was on holiday somewhere. Spain, was it? No, Turkey. Yes, it was definitely Turkey. He was there with his ex-wife. I think it was their last holiday together before they split up. They separated 5 years ago. Anyway, to get back to the story, Bob, oh, that's my brother's name, by the way, was walking on the beach alone one afternoon when he saw this man trying to pull a boat out of the water. Apparently, it looked quite heavy, so Bob wanted to help. He's that sort of person, very sociable. He likes talking to people and doing things for them, so he went up to this man and started using sign language, pointing to himself and to the boat and miming pulling the boat out of the water. He even said, "Me help you, yes," in very simple, very bad English, like baby talk. Honestly. Of course, he thought the man was local, Turkish. Well, this is the best part. The man looked at him for a moment and said, "Thanks, mate, but I can manage." He was English, of course. Oh, my brother felt so stupid, you can imagine, making a fool of himself and talking like Tarzan in the movies. I laughed so much I couldn't stop. The best thing was that Bob laughed a lot too. Great story, and the way he told it.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning, sir.
Before we start the class today, I need to give you some information about our field trip on the 27th of May, next Friday, in fact. As you know, we're spending the day at the amazing Science Museum in London. The coach will pick us up in the school car park. We'll leave at 8 o'clock. So plan to be here at least 15 minutes before that, 7:45 at the latest. You better set your alarms for 6:30, okay? Now, our visit's been confirmed by the museum, and I've just received the itinerary and information about the activities they've organised for us. If you visited the Science Museum before, you'll know that it's enormous, and we can't possibly see everything in one day. You may want to take some notes now, though I'll also put the info on the class website later on. The museum opens from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. If all goes well, we hope to arrive by 10:15 latest, when we'll have our first guided tour of the day. There are two, by the way. If you read the newspaper last Sunday, you'll have seen the article about the reopening of the Welcome Wing last week. It now has 3 state-of-the-art galleries which deal only with contemporary science. We're going to have a guided tour of one of them, an exhibition called Antenna, which is about how the latest scientific discoveries could change our lives. You'll also have the opportunity to give your opinions about the latest ideas. Now remember, the museum has lots of hands-on multimedia stuff, so you won't get bored. Yeah, I'm sure you'll find it fascinating. Then, at 11 o'clock, we'll have a coffee break, and you'll be free to visit the permanent exhibitions until 12:30. There are 20 galleries with different themes, so you'll only have time to see 2 or 3 properly. If I were you, I wouldn't miss the one called Making the Modern World, which is marvellous. It shows the development of the modern industrial world in a really entertaining and creative way. Also, watch out for The Secret Life of the Home. It's great fun, and you'll be amazed by all the gadgets people used to use in the house, and will use in the future. Then it's lunchtime. We've ordered a picnic from the cafe, which we'll eat in the picnic area on the 1st floor. We'll all meet up there at 12:30, so don't be late. We have to go to the cinema at 1:15. Yes, but not an ordinary cinema, an IMAX 3D cinema. At 1:15, we're booked to have a 3D experience called Space Station. You'll blast off into space with astronauts from the USA and Russia and experience life on the International Space Station 220 miles above Earth. How does that sound? Great, okay. Then we have our second guided tour at 2:45, 2:45, to see one of the special temporary exhibitions called Fast Forward. It's about 20 ways that Formula One technology is being used in our hospitals, homes and workplaces. For example, the materials and machines they've developed for the Formula One cars are now being used to make racing bikes.
and sophisticated machines to monitor hospital patients. The tour should take about an hour until 3:45, and I'm pleased to tell you that you'll then be free for the rest of the afternoon. You'll be able to go back to any galleries you're particularly interested in or see something new. Now, we'll leave the museum at 5:30, so tell your parents you should be home by 8 p.m. I think that's all for now. One last thing. Check out the Science Museum website before we go. The more you read about it, the more interesting the visit will be.